Okay, let's begin. So the first topic that we will be talking about today is basically the prepared statement. So let me first use any of the existing class to create a new class so that the old code remains intact, and I should use the new class as the mode of experiment so that you have the code preserved, and I will share this code with you. So I've created a new class, test connection prepared. Now let me close this class, test connection, and let me get rid of a few things. For example, inside execute the Curie, let me get rid of this code. Okay, and this as well. Right, then this one. Okay, yeah. Okay. So the topic that we are going to discuss for today is the prepared statement. So as you can see that there are steps. Statement is there. There are different steps in basically creating the connection. The first step was register the driver classes, that is shown in step number 1 in this line. And then the second step was to get the connection using the driver manager. So con variable is used to refer to the connection object. The connection object is initialized to null, the statement is initialized to null, and the result set is initialized to null. Instead of this statement, now what I want to use is I want to use prepared statement. Control Shift O, and it is imported. Prepared statement is imported, I believe. Let me commit it first. Okay, you see the prepared statement has come. So what I want to talk about today is about this prepared statement versus the statement. So earlier what we were doing is we were just using the statement. There was no prepared in before the statement, and the purpose of the statement was basically to let the developer call a different method on the statement object, like execute query, execute update, or the execute method itself, and pass on a static query, and then so this was the basic purpose. So prepared statement is something, as the name indicate, it says that the statement that we are about to execute, there is something special about it, and the special about it is that it could be already prepared even before it is executed. Okay, so that's a basic hint. We will see what does it mean in detail. So that's the basic hint. So instead of a statement, what we are going to use is the prepared statement, and this is, as you can see, it's a name of a interface. The statement also used to be the interface itself. See, the statement was also let me import the statement as well. So the statement was also a interface itself. Okay, so both are interfaces. So when I say prepared statement, so if I get into the code of the prepared statement, you can see that prepared statement basically extend statement, right? So the prepared statement interface basically extend the statement interface. Now what does this imply? When the prepared statement extend the statement interface, what does it imply? Can someone type in the chat box? Gargi, you are not able to see the screen as well as not hear. Nothing is visible for Anuj Razdan as well, as he is saying. Others please. Others please let me know. For others it is visible, so probably Gargi and Anuj, the problem might be from your end. It could be the internet connection, the speed, or something else. What you can do is try to exit for a second and then join again. Maybe that could help, or refresh your go to your connection, try to disconnect and connect again. So maybe these steps could help you. Okay, on refreshing it is visible. Okay, good. So see, we keep on facing these problems, might be because of the internet speed or some other reasons, till the lockdown, and we have to learn how to cope with all these things. So anyways, so what I was saying is that we are trying to discuss about the prepared statement, and there was a statement that we have already used. Both are interfaces, and when I say prepared statements basically extend the statement interface. So what does this imply? What does this mean? If I say the statement prepared statement interface extend the statement interface, what does it mean? Can someone answer me in the text box? Piyush says extend means prepared statement is a subclass of the class statement. Both are interfaces, so no question of classes. Piyush. Let's keep the implementation aside. Let's just talk about the two interfaces. When I say prepared statement extend the statement interface, what does it mean? Muhammad Aman said declaration of functions. What do you mean by declaration of functions? We can have an abstract method and constants. From where? Anuj Goel says. Chandra Bijrani is coming to the right point. Prepared statement will inherit the behavior of the statement. So now prepared statement will have everything what the statement has. For example, the statement has the execute Curie method, the statement has the execute update method, the statement has the execute method itself, and there are many more. So all these will be the part of the prepared statement as well, because prepared statement interface extend the statement interface, whereas prepared statement may add more functionality or more behavior to the statement interface. So what we say, prepared statement, whether the prepared statement is an extension to statement or whether the prepared statement is a you can say generalization. Anuraj, we have not come to the point that what prepared statement actually does yet. We are just talking about in terms of core Java that if prepared statement extend the statement interface, what it potentially means. Yeah, it's an extension basically. So extension means the previous statement interface has got something, and the prepared statement adds up something to the statement interface, whatever statement interface has to offer. So prepared statement has got the things of both the world. So we can expect all these methods to be available in the prepared statement as well, which were available in the statement interfaces. First thing is clear, no doubt about it, I think. Okay, agreed or any doubt? Okay, so let's go to the just the documentation of it. So you can see what does it do is basically it executes the SQL query in this code. Prepared statement code will remain the code results it. Okay, it is basically this the Java doc in prepared statement is basically only about mostly the methods. However, before the interface start, it has got something to say about what does the interface offers basically. So it says in the following example of static parameter represent the active connection. So prepared, it says how to, it's basically telling you how to use the prepared statement. So it says prepared statement, say instead of a statement it has used the stmt, it has used the variable p stmt. Okay, we were using stmt as the reference variable name. So it says con dot prepare statement, and then it is passing the statement inside the prepare statement method. And what it does is it basically leaving some placeholders in the form of question mark. It is leaving some placeholders in the form of question mark. So these placeholders must be filled. For example, the SQL statement update employees set salary is equal to say 10,000, where ID is equal to 123. So this 10,000 and 123 are not statically written over here, not statically coded the part of the statement itself, SQL statement itself, but a placeholder is left for them, right? So this indicates typically the format that we need to follow. So let me copy this this format and the next two lines as well, which says that these two question marks, that means these two placeholders where some data has to be attached or some data needs to be bind up, this could be binded up using the same p statement reference variable, and then we will call the methods on p statement reference variable depending upon what kind of data it is. So it says if the data is say for example big decimal, at the position 1, this is first question mark is the position work and the second question mark is position number 2. So if at first question mark 1, that is at position 1, if the data in the database is actually big decimal, so I am using p stmt dot set big decimal, and then I am actually putting a big decimal 1,53,833 rupees for example. Then p stmt dot set integer, ID is basically integer in the employees database that they have assumed. So the index position of this placeholder is 2, not in the database but in the Curie I am talking about. So this first question mark is at position 1, the second question mark is at position 2 in the statement. So the second position placeholder is indicated by 2 over here, and the ID is supplied along with it. So this is the way how we basically bind the placeholder in the prepared statement. Even now we have not yet started discussing why we are switching from a statement to a prepared statement as of now. Okay, it's just the syntax that we are talking about. So there was a statement interface and there is a prepared statement interface. We know that prepared statement extends the statement interface, so that prepared statement has got everything whatever the statement has got, as well as it may add some new functionality. And now you can see this new functionality over here, that this statement, prepared statement, can have SQL statement where you have got placeholders left for the values, and those values can be binded in the next coming statements, in the next coming line of codes, depending upon the nature of the data in the database. You will call the setter method, like set big decimal, and you will provide the position of the placeholder in the statement, and then the value of it, then again the position, and then the value, and so on. So let me copy this piece of code, and let me paste it in the code that we were discussing, test connection prepared, just for the reference point. So I am putting everything inside a comment. Okay. So this is we can keep on referring. That will tell us how to use it. Any questions till now? Any questions so forth? No? Okay. So let's move further. Now just have a look at the previous code. This was the previous code when we were using a statement. Okay. So instead of prepared statement, if we were using the statement, let me just remove the prepared statement as of now, then this was the code to create a statement. We used to call create statement on the connection object. On the connection object, we used to call the create statement. But as soon as I choose to replace the statement with the prepared statement, now this particular code is going to give me a compilation error. Type mismatch cannot convert from statement to prepared statement. Why? Because this create statement is basically returning what? A statement object. It is returning me a statement object, but I cannot refer the implementation of the statement object, right? Or it is returning me something which could be referred by the statement interface. Agreed? As the message says, type mismatch cannot convert from statement to prepared statement. That means this create statement method is returning me something, an object which could be referred by the statement interface, or rather the implementation of the statement interface. Now this could not be referred by a variable of prepared statement unless and until we provide a cast, right? So cast is a different thing, like it is giving me a hint, add cast to the prepared statement. If I add a cast, it will basically put a cast over here, but then we will be stuck into an exception. If you want to try, you can see that, but we do not want to do this. Okay. So the stmt variable is of the type prepared statement, and so this is not the way we can actually move further. See, the idea lies, if a statement would have extended prepared statement, in that case we would have not received this compilation error, but it is the otherwise, that is, a prepared statement is extending the statement, right? So prepared statement is an extension. We can always refer a a variable, a subtype with a super type, but we cannot do the reverse. So that is not possible to basically refer a statement return type with a prepared statement reference variable, but the opposite is possible. If we want to refer say a prepared statement with a statement, that is quite possible, as I believe technically. Agree with me? Any doubts? Okay. So that means we can no longer use the create statement method over here. So we have to use one of the methods which are provided in the extension part of the prepared statement interface, right? And still, although this create statement is available with the prepared statement, it's no longer used because of the return type. So we have to use prepare statement, right? As you can see here in this line, which is highlighted, which I have brought from the interface directly, the prepared interface directly, that it says, okay, you can use con.prepared statement to get the statement. And now the word as it symbolizes, I am not creating a statement, but rather I am preparing a statement. What does it mean? That earlier what I used to do is I used to create a statement simply, and I basically choose not to provide the SQL statement right at that time. It was possible for me. I choose not to write the SQL statement right while preparing the statement or while creating the statement. Earlier this was how we used to do. Rather, what we used to do is when we fired the query, like stmt.execute query or execute update, in that particular method we used to supply the SQL statement. But because this method, as the name indicate, it is calling about preparing a statement, that means it needs to do something with the statement itself, the SQL statement itself. So it's not just about creating a blank statement and supplying the SQL statement later on while we execute any of the operation on it, but rather it's about that you have to provide the statement right over while you prepare the statement, and that is the essence of the prepared statement. So what I can do is I can say, for example, I want to delete some record, delete from say students table, and the students table belong to the Jamia Hamza database, where serial underscore number is equal to, and then question mark, right? Delete from student where serial number is equal to question mark. So I have supplied the statement while I prepare the statement. So both the steps are now merged, right? Both the steps are now merged. Now because I have left a placeholder over here, so I must provide a binding to this placeholder. So let me say that stmt dot set the serial number is of the type integer. So let me say set integer. So you can see two values that I need to pass to this particular method. One is the parameter index, the other is an integer value. So the parameter index basically indicates the position of the question mark, the position of the question mark. So we are referring to the first question mark, and in total we have got only single question mark in this statement. So let me say replace this parameter index by 1, and we want to say, for example, we want to delete, let me see what are the variables available. Let me say, for example, I want to delete the record number 8, which contains some record about student Hamza. So serial number is 8. So let me bind it by serial number 8. Okay. Now let me put this into comment as of now, for as of now. So we want to execute the query. So we will say stmt is equal stmt dot. So we have got execute method, we have got execute query method, and we have got execute update method. What do you think shall we use in this case? We have got we have seen 3 methods: execute query, execute update, and execute method. What do you think we should use at this place? Please answer in the chat box. Okay, Piyush says execute update. Faraz says execute query. Faraz, we cannot. Anuj Goel says execute. Okay, let me answer Faraz first. We cannot use execute query because, as you can see, the nature of the query is a DML. It's not a query actually. The statement is a DML statement. So it's a delete statement. So delete means that I will be expecting the number of records which are affected. So execute update is the one which should be basically used. And then someone else is saying, who is that? Let me see. Ahmad Faraz, no. Anuj Goel says we can also use execute. Yes, Anuj Goel, we can use the execute as well. But then again, we will be stuck in 2 steps. First, we execute the execute method, and then we have to check the return type of the execute method, whether it returns true or false. If it returns false, then only we can go and get the number of rows affected or updated. So that's a 2-step process. So let me simplify the process. The easiest way for me to do is, and the best way to do is, execute update as of now. Agreed, everyone? Okay. So you see, there are 2 versions of execute update now. You can see one execute update which returns an integer type is the part of the prepared statement, right? That is in the extension part of the prepared statement. And there is the execute update which is being inherited from the statement interface, and it also returns an integer type. But this one, the second one, which is inherited from the statement interface, in fact the rest all that you can see, they basically take the string SQL as one of the parameter at least, right? So they take the SQL statement, whereas we need to use this one because we have already provided the SQL statement while preparing the statement itself, right? So we do not need to provide the SQL statement now. I will just say stmt.execute update and my query should be updated. Now this execute update is going to return me an integer value that will basically tell me how many rows are affected as usual, as per the specification of execute update method. So let me say that I want to store that into a variable count, which is of the type integer, and then I want to print it, the count, as the number of rows affected is equal to plus count. That's it. Okay, so we are done. Now let me try to run this particular program, and let me see if row number 8, row with the serial number 8 should be deleted and are we able to delete it or not. So this is the row basically that we need to see if it is deleted or not. As of now it's there. We just try to run it and let's see. The number of rows affected is equal to 1. Let me go to the to this place and let me refresh it. See, row number 8 is gone. Now let's come to discussing why do we need the prepared statement, or rather what is the difference between a prepared statement and a statement. While we will executing in fact all the methods, execute update or execute query, all these methods with the statement itself. Why do we need this prepared statement? See, there is a reason that you will come across certain situation where the query that you have written, for example, delete from a student where serial number is equal to, and then you have put a question mark. This query in the case of the statement, I would have replaced this question mark with a hard code value, right? That probably I might have scanned from the keyboard or directly I have hard coded, whatever. So that value is already known in advance. I will assume that value is known in advance. Now, so that was a static SQL statement. Now this is a dynamic SQL statement, that in the sense that this statement needs to operate on certain parameters, and those parameters are basically binded later on, whereas the statement is prepared first. So assume a condition where an employee who is in the admin department of or employee HR department of a company, and the company is long enough, a very large company, say like a TCS or Infosys or so on, and from all the branches of the company which are distributed all over the country, people are joining every day in say thousands in number, for example. It's a hiring time. Okay, so what he does is basically he sits with a console, and he has a console about the employee details, and he keep on filling the employee details very quickly, and he just submitting the button, and this form information goes to the server, and at the server side the query has to be created for inserting those records, and that needs to be stored in the database. Or another simple situation is, say for example, for every joined employee who has joined, say profile is already created. Now what the HR needs to do is to basically or rather the IT people who maintain the mail ID of company mail ID of all the employees, they need to just create the mail ID by their surnames. By joining their surnames, they want to create a mail ID. So they want to keep on doing again and again for a large number of employees. Okay, so when a SQL statement is sent or is created, when a SQL statement is created and a method execute or execute update or execute query method is fired upon it, there are different things which happen in phases. Like for example, let me open a text file. There are typically 4 steps which basically happens. The first is when the query is sent to the database from the client side. Like for example, when I fire the statement, create a statement. So as soon as I say the create a statement, and then in the next line I say execute query. So what happens when this information reaches to the database? The first step that happens, because in the case of a statement we cannot pass on the query until we write the execute query method or execute update method, because the query has to be part of it. But in the prepared statement, the query is not the part of the execute query, execute update or execute method. It's rather the part of the prepare statement method itself, right? So there is a little bit of difference in both the versions. So when we fire the execute query or execute update or execute method in the case of a statement, then only these 4 steps happen basically. And the steps are: the statement, the SQL statement is passed. Okay, right? The first step that happens. Then what happens is the SQL, the parse SQL statement. Let me say parse. You understand what is the parsing, right? It is basically breaking the whole SQL statement to different parts and to identify what needs to be done with it. So whether it's a select query or it's update query or it's a delete query or it's a insert query, and then what should be the syntax that should be over there. All this should be verified. So whether it's in the right syntax or not. Then the parsed SQL statement is compiled. So basically it could be compiled into the native form of the database server, whatever it takes. Then third, the query is optimized. The query is optimized. So it is optimized for the performance. So this basically comes into effect when you have a very complicated query like the join operations and all those things. So you need to do a lot of optimization in that case. So that's another area of study for a SQL statements, the whole of the subject of the SQL. But so certain optimization are also done from the database server side. The query is, in that case, is optimized, and then at the 4th step, the query is executed. So these are the 4 statements, those 4 steps that basically happens when we fire the execute query, execute update or execute method of the statement over the reference variable of the statement interface, right? Because the SQL statement is only passed with one of the 3 methods, whereas in the prepared statement we have passed the SQL statement. Unlike the create statement method of the statement, we have used the prepared statement method, and we have passed the statement in the prepared statement as in itself as a parameter. So the first 3 steps, that is the SQL statement is passed, that it is compiled, and then it is optimized. These 3 steps happen on the server side, on the database server side, whether it is installed on the same machine or in a different machine, doesn't matter. On the server side it happens beforehand, even before you fire a single query. And then when you bind the placeholders or the values with the query, and then you fire the execute query, execute update, execute method over the prepared statement reference variable, then only the query is executed. So that means in this case we are saved with these 3 steps. If we need to do this process over and over again, that means we need to execute the same statement over and over again for a number of times. So just as I have given you example that I want to fill in the records of all the employees, thousands of employees joined for today in one go. So that's one classical example. Or I need to create for each and every employee that has already joined and its record is available in the database. I want to create a mail ID for it using the first name and the last name and some other characters, right? So these operations are which needs to be done over and over in an iterated way. So we are talking about iterations where a single statement could be reused for a number of times. In that case, if we save these 3 statements, then it could be a lot of gain. But understand that still the binding operation takes some time. It is consuming something, some CPU cycle, that you are binding it first, and then you are basically passing it as a parameter to the statement. So binding on the side of the client code, and then it is that statement is passed to the server, where the server also bind to already optimized, pre-compiled and passed Curie that particular parameter and execute it. So this binding has to be done. This binding may consume very little, but some amount of CPU cycle. So we will be so the prepared statement is going to be beneficial for us in terms of performance only if we are going to, or we are intended to execute a statement a number of times. Agreed? Any doubts so forth? Everyone getting? Okay. So the typical statement that you are seeing over here, which is running just a single statement, and just once I have attached a parameter to it, this basically could be replaced by a lot of different a number of statements in a loop, say for example, and then it will give you the right understanding of the purpose of the prepared statement when the same statement is being executed again and again. Okay, so that will be the right thing to assume. So I will suggest you to basically put it into a while loop, which is keep on executing until you exit, and use a scanner to basically read the parameters which has to be bind to the placeholder, and bind it dynamically from getting the information from the keyboard, and run it for 100 times, for 1,000 times, and you can just see, if you want to record how much time it is taking, basically you can put a timer before and after the Curie, using the calendar class or anything like that. So that way you will be able to measure the performance of prepared statement with a number of statements keep on executing very quickly over the same statement, SQL statement. So I also have got one document open here, which says the difference between JDBC statement and prepared statement. So this is a good document. If you want, you can just have a look at it. I will share the link to it. So in general, statement and prepared statement are not the classes but the interfaces. Okay, this is the mistake over here. The implementations, of course, is available as a class that represent the SQL statements to interact with database server. So the detail is statement is a JDBC interface used for general purpose access to SQL databases, especially while using this static SQL statement at the runtime. As we know, the static means we don't have the placeholders. The placeholder makes it dynamic, where we can bind the value that is required in the placeholder in the next line of the code as we like. It defines the methods and the property to interact with the database using SQL or PL/SQL commands. It is used to execute standard SQL statements like create, update, retrieve, delete. That is basically the correct operation that it says. It works as a carrier between the Java program and the database, but it cannot accept parameters at the runtime. It is talking about this statement as of now. And it's not pre-compiled, meaning that the same SQL statement cannot be used multiple times. Of course, whenever you fire the Curie stmt.execute Curie or execute update or execute, you will have to keep on passing the SQL statement again and again. The same SQL statement is not used. Then it says a line, it is more prone to SQL injection. Does anyone know what is a SQL injection? And it also says statement cannot be used multiple times and account for a slow performance than the prepared statement. Mark it, the slow performance only matters when you have to reuse the same statement for a large number of times. Otherwise, the reverse will happen. In fact, the prepared statement will be more costlier for you because you also need to do the binding at both the ends, at the client and the server. So that's one catch. So anyone, what is a SQL injection? Aman says vulnerability. Yes, it's a vulnerability, security vulnerability. Then Rajdeep Bharti says execute some command from a web form. Yes, there is a web form and you have got text boxes, and then somehow, because those web form are going to be saved to the databases, for example, they will be converted to a query in some form or other. Those as MS says, it's a data driven app that is prone to attack by SQL injection. So basically, Neil Chauhan says SQL injection is a process in which some hacker sends some command such as drop table to the app server to hamper the database. Yes, it is true. So basically, you use those test boxes to basically have some single quotes or something written inside it, so that it is treated as a statement within a statement. So like a nested SQL statement or a statement with a condition. So they use such kind of loopholes to basically fire a SQL SQL injection attack. But because we have got a prepared statement where placeholders are there, so placeholders are going to be replaced at the runtime, and so any value which is going to something which is going to do bad could not be inserted because those placeholders are binded from within the code, right? But still, initially I was of the idea that SQL injection is only possible with the statements, but later on when I keep on thinking about it, I believe it is possible. It is, although I have not tried it, but I believe it is still possible to have a SQL injection attack with a prepared statement as well. So if you want to take it as a project or as a research project, you can just try to figure out what are the possible ways where prepared statement could also be compromised to basically have a SQL injection attack, and whether it is possible or not, that is the first question to be answered. Modern application framework don't apply SQL injection, like for example, Rajdeep Bharti, what you want to say? You are right in the sense, but I want to understand what is the focus of your understanding. Neil Chauhan is also saying that SQL injection is not possible if we are not using ORM. So Neil Chauhan, tell me if it is possible if we are using in ORM we cannot use SQL, right? But say in a ORM like a Hibernate, we have something called as HQL, Hibernate Query Language. What about that? Because every time you cannot work with object, you have to sometime fire the query. Rajesh says if we had CSRF and XSS protection. Yes. but how can you relate it to, you know, all the frameworks? I mean, you want to relate it to, say for example, an MVC framework or a ORM framework? Okay. Okay. Okay, but still, you know, to, you know, answer this in depth, probably I will also have to, you know, go through once what are the new updates in the last 3 4 years with the modern frameworks. Uh, uh, Even before, there were a lot of things which were, you know, there to protect such kind of, you know, attacks, and it keep on adding up the things. Uh, but still, vulnerability is always there in one form or the other. So this was uh, some framework use escape character sequence in HTML. Yeah, that is true. So let's coming back to the topic. So here, as I've just shown you, it's a prepared statement which is talking only about the delete statement. Let me see other type of prepared statement as well. Like for example, I want to do insert operation. So let me go back. I want to get an insert Curie instead of writing. I'm feeling a bit lazy. So that's a long statement. So let me say I want to insert uh, or rather I want to update a record. For example, let me say that I want to update this record. I have got 2 records for Raj, so I want to update one of the record. So let me say uh, for this person Raj, I want to, it's both the same thing actually. Let me say I want to update this Anuj one, the record with serial number 3. So I want to change his age as 25, his semester to 7th. So let me promote Anuj to the 7th semester even before the exam. So this is what I want to do, and then I am applying the Curie. Let me go to copy this Curie, Control C, I'll copy it here, copy, and then I'm just cancelling it. Okay, I'm not doing it from here, but rather I want to do it I will revert. Okay, so I want to do it from the code. So now what I must do is I must write this statement right over here in the prepared statement. Okay, so it says update Jami Hamza dot student set age is equal to, okay, there are some mistakes. Just a second. So update Jami Hamza dot student set age is equal to 25. So because this is a prepared statement, I want to leave a placeholder for it, and then the semester is equal to 7. I again want to leave a placeholder for it, where serial number is equal to 3. I want to leave a placeholder for it. So now we have got 3 placeholders in this statement. Now can someone give me the binding binding of these this SQL statement, just like this line stmt set integer. So can someone provide me all the three bindings for it, for this particular line? I am copying this into the test box and of the chat box. I need the binding for all three. Probably Neil Chauhan is maybe he is right. I have to confirm before committing to it, but it makes sense that SQL injection is not possible with MVC framework because SQL injection is an attack on the server and MVC framework are client based. Okay, no, MVC server are not client based. This is wrong, Neil Chauhan. It has got both the components. Okay, so whereas it provides a tag language for the client side operation, the tag language is very much binded to the server side operation as well, and that's one of the benefit of using a framework that basically automatize the process. So statement dot set integer 1,25, statement dot set integer 2,27, statement set integer 3,3. Okay, let's try this. Okay, Maman Daman has answered this. We will just need to replace it with the semicolons, and let's try it. Okay, Control V. Okay, okay, now tell me, is it right? 1 2 3, here this 1 and then 2 and then 3, the first part of the set in parameters. Okay, they actually mean the position of the placeholder, that this placeholder is being assigned a value in this line, that this placeholder is being assigned a value in this line, and this placeholder is being assigned a value or being binded with a value at this line. Now update Jamia Hamdad dot student set age is equal to, now we must need to understand the data type of all the three data types. Okay, so we have got age, semester, and then serial number. Let me go into the database and see. Serial number is of course an integer value, age should be an integer, and then semester must be an integer. So all these three are integer, right? That can be more precisely confirmed if we want to, or we can see it over here. Serial number integer, serial number is an integer, age is an integer, and then the semester is also semester is a varchar. Sorry, semester is a varchar. Okay, so semester is a varchar. So maybe tomorrow if I want to use a Roman number instead of this, so I can very well use that. So semester is a varchar. So what change that I need to do it over here? Or in which line? This is line number 1, this is line number 2, and this is line number 3 of binding. In which line should I make some changes? In line number 3, no. Ahmed Faraz, no. In line number 2. In line number 2, we have got set string 2,7, because line number 2 is basically taking about the second placeholder, which is semester, and the semester is varchar, right? So we have to say set string, right? So is it working? Set string, set any string. Let me see what are the options available, because I remember set string was the part earlier. Okay, it is there. Okay, oh, just that you have to know. Okay, the one thing is that, okay, you cannot just say 7 as numeric value. You have to say 7 as a string value. This has to be the difference, right? This has to be the difference. It's working. Okay. So shall we try? So age must be changed from 24 to 25. Semester must be changed from 6 to 7, and for serial number 3. Okay, so one record is affected. The Curie is perfectly alright. It means let's go and let's see what happens over here. For serial number 3, you see the age has changed to 25, the semester to 7. So here we are done. So now tell me, this is a parameterized Curie. Can someone give me an example of a parameterized Curie for the select statement? This is for the update statement, right? And it doesn't make any difference because the whole statement is being written inside the prepared statement, not inside the execute update statement or execute Curie statement or execute statement. It's written over here. So here, can I replace it with select and write something to be make it more functional? Give me some example of the select Curie that works on the student table. You can see the structure over here. The serial number, enrollment number, serial underscore number, enrollment underscore number, name, age, course, semester. I need a select Curie. We have seen the update Curie. We have seen the delete Curie. I believe you will be in a position to fire a insert statement as well, so that should not be a problem. Now I want to try it with a select Curie. Piyush Batra has said con.prepare statement, select a star from a student where name is equal to something. Okay, so let me copy this, Control C. Rather, let me just commit it so that it is already there, and you can have it from the commented code what you have done earlier. You can always go and see them. A little formatting. Okay, so I don't need these two statements as well, because now I'm going to fire the select statement. Okay, where name, the name of the field is name actually. So let me change the first, where name is equal to Imran. So let me change it to, okay, rather let's have a multiple. For example, name is equal to Raj. So we have got 2 records over here for Raj. Okay, so where name is equal to Raj, and now what will be the binding? Give me the binding for it. A statement dot set string 1 comma Raj. Okay, fine, Noman and Piyush both. Control C, tab, Control V, and then let me call these 2 lines. Let me copy it over here and paste here. Integer count is equal to execute update and system dot println number of count. ठीक है, ट्राई करें. I got an exception. What is the exception? Let me see. Cannot issue okay. Oh, of course you cannot issue an execute update, right? The method must be changed. You must say execute Curie. Then what's the problem? Cannot convert from result set to integer. Of course, you need a result set. Okay, so let me say it's rs. In the above code, we have already defined rs to be null. So now that will be initialized by something. This statement doesn't matter because we don't get the count value. And then what we can do is we can bring on, or rather uncomment this piece of the code. Source remove block comment. Okay, so this is star. Let's, for more clarity, let's cut it and bring it right over here so that the code is right at the place where it belongs. Let me go for a little bit of formatting and it will look better now. Now, done guys, let's try it. Okay, so we have got both the records for Raj, you know. So far so good. Are you able to understand, or do you have any questions till now? Any questions so forth? Which part, Anuj Razan? Which part you want me to repeat again? When you change the name. Okay, I mean the select, right? The select Curie that we have fired, right? Okay, fine. See, it's very simple. Just like the update statement, update or delete statement, whatever be it, or insert statement, all I did is I put a select statement over here. Select star from students, just like the normal select Curie is there, where name is equal to. So I do not want to select everything. In this case, I want to select with a particular condition, and the condition is where name is equal to whatever the name that I supply. So I have supplied the name as Raj. So in fact, if you see in the database for Raj, there were two records for serial number 5 and serial number 6. There were two records. So these two records were printed. These two records, my intention was to print these two records. So that is why there was a question mark, that is a placeholder, that whatever name I want to use. Okay. So instead, in a real application, you can assume the name to be replaced with a surname. So I want to print the detail of all the students with a particular surname, or a locality who all lives in the Jamia Hamdard campus, or say Tughlaqabad, for example. So that could be one situation. So I want to fire a query, the select query with condition, right? And that only makes sense because if you are talking about the dynamic binding, then I must have something to bind, right? I must have something to bind, and that is something that should be changed again and again for a number of different execution of the statement. So sometime I would be willing to find the people with the locality Tughlaqabad. Sometime I would be willing to find the people with the locality say Okla. Sometime I will be willing to find the people with the locality of some other region, and so on. So that should be keep on changing, right? That is why prepared statement is there to help us. Agreed? Okay. Okay, so my question is, so just for the experimental purpose I am asking that even the select query that we have passed is a parameterized one that requires a binding. Okay, in the prepared statement, just like the normal statement, can we have a query which doesn't takes a parameter, which doesn't have a binding as such? Is it possible? Like for example, if I want to write a query like this, I want to print all the records from the student table, right? So I won't require this binding at that point of time, right? I won't require this binding, right? Just this much. Whether it is possible to fire this query from the prepared statement? Please answer in the chat box. So a lot of people are saying yes. Now tell me the reason why yes. What could be the technical reason? The prepared statement is used as it is, yes. Yeah, Emma says the same as it inherits the behavior of the statement, because prepared statement has everything that a statement has. So nothing stops me from doing anything that a statement can do. Okay, right? So that means this should be a valid statement. Let me try. Okay, so you can see everything is being printed. And what if let me undo this and let the select statement remain as it is, and there is a execute query method, and in the execute query method what I do is I type the query. Now consider the situation, both the situation. At first place we have got the prepared statement, counter prepared statement, where I have already supplied a parameterized query, and then I am writing a query inside the execute query method. Execute query method is not empty. I am writing a query as well. Now what should happen? What should be the output that I must expect? Tell me. You see, let me pass the whole thing to the chat box itself. Aman says it will throw an exception. Rajdeep says it will work. Rajdeep, which one will work? Whether the query which says select star from a student where name is equal to question mark and then binded right to the question mark, that means 2 records should be printed in that case. And in the execute query I have written select star from a student, which means it should print everything. The query in the execute query will work. Okay, so Rajiv says the query in the execute query will work and not the prepared statement one. So Ahmed Farah says it will print all. Let's try and let's see. So agreed. Although we have prepared the statement, but we have never executed the prepared statement, because statement itself has statement now means the reference variable of the prepared statement interface, and when I say execute Curie, you see I have got two versions. One which is coming from the prepared statement, that is empty. So if I fire the empty one, because the statement is already with the prepared statement, counter prepared statement, so that will be acting with the overloaded version that has been supplied in the prepared statement interface. Whereas if I supply a query, so that will be just like I am using the execute query method of the statement interface, right? So agree everyone? Okay. So yeah, again just going to the document, we have left the document in between. So I am fed up with these advertisements. Because of my kids, it's always showing Aladdin and the Lion King. So what is the prepared statement? It's an extended and the powerful version of the statement interface, which may or may not be parameterized, meaning like unlike statement, it can take input parameters with account to for the faster performance. We have seen both the things. So difference between JDBC statement and prepared statement. So you can just go through whatever we have discussed. It's all over there. So it's telling about the prepared statement. It's a pre-compiled statement. We need the input parameters, and one thing that it's saying is it's a binary communication protocol. That is that also makes it a more efficient and faster, because the prepared statement works on the binary communication protocol and not on the text-based communication rules. So and then we have got something about the SQL injection, that it is not possible for SQL injection to work, but still I doubt the SQL injection is possibly I feel that it could be possible with some workarounds. So there is a table. Actually, there is a table. You can go through this table. It gives you the differences one by one. Just go through them and see whatever makes sense as per the discussion. So I will pass on the link. In fact, let me pass on the link right in the text box, and you can choose to copy it and keep it with you. You may just copy this link and save it or open it in bookmark in your browsers. So I wanted to complete another topic as well, but Ahmed Farad is asking, sir, how prepared statement execute SQL batch update easier than statement? See, basically prepared statement are a lot helpful if you are working with a batch statement, because there is a time gap between the communication of the client and the server, the UI layer and the server and the database server. So it does more sense, or it may be more be giving us performance optimization in terms of time when the things are done in batch. So batch is something it does basically you can club a number of SQL statement into one go, that is one batch. So it will be communicated as one thing to the database, and the database is basically if it is a prepared statement, the SQL is already parsed, compiled as well as optimized. All it needs to do is look at the number of statement which has come in one single batch in a communication, and then keep on adding the parameter and executing the statements. So that will even add to the performance. So that's it for today. Typically the classes get extended when we are online, because for one thing, because I don't have the computer, my laptop is in the office, so I have to keep on writing every code on my own. So it has its slow pace. then that means if I would have a pre-written code, then probably I could have shown you faster, but still it will be more advantageous if I do everything right in front of you, so that you are able to grasp the things line by line, and you can see the problems that comes in between, the exceptions that occur, and that's more of a good learning. So we are stopping at this point today, so tomorrow we will again meet at 3:30. Okay guys, okay, you can log off for today.